Everyone, hope you guys are going well. Welcome to our Saturday night A-League watch-along. It is the Melbourne Derby. Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City, one of the fiercest rivalries in the A-League, and two teams who have had, I guess you could say, mixed starts to the competition. It's been up and down a little bit for both sides. Melbourne City have been pretty strong. They're coming off a really good win in the Champions League midweek, and for Melbourne Victory, they were a little bit lackluster in the opening couple of rounds, and that big 5-2 loss to Newcastle Jets just a couple of weeks ago. But they bounced back last week with a win against Perth Glory. They would love to defeat Melbourne City here, their rivals, who, of course, we think back to the Melbourne Derby Grand Final, which was just a number of months ago, when Melbourne City claimed the 2025 A-League Championship. So, this is a huge game coming up, folks. Jump in the live chat. Drop your predictions. What are your early feelings heading into this game? We've got the lineups here on the watch-along here as well. As you can see, either side, some very interesting decisions. More so for Melbourne City, who are continuing to sort of rotate their squad just a little bit, juggling Champions League elite football. Really appreciate you guys joining us here on a Saturday. I hope you guys have enjoyed your weekend so far. And I hope you've been enjoying the football, because just prior to this game, we saw a cracking New Zealand derby, Wellington Phoenix Auckland FC. Auckland with a 2-1 win, finishing the game with just 9 players. Absolutely incredible. So hopefully we get similar drama in this game. From a neutral point of view, at least. From my neutral point of view. It is round 4 of the A-League men's competition. Very excited for this one. A-League X is here. Leo Center 23, Mr. Met, said cracking New Zealand derby. Tay Burns says, Adelaide fan, making my trip to Amy Park as we speak. Love to hear it. There you go. It's always great. Sometimes in these live watch-alongs, we get people jumping in the live chat who are at the stadium, which is always it's always cool to have someone tuning in live from the ground. It's awesome. Zachariah tuned in to say, I hope the atmosphere is great. Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the weather earlier. I don't know if you guys saw. It's cold and rainy in Melbourne. I can tell you right now, up here in New South Wales where I am, it's been sunny and hot. So, quite a contrast in weather across the country at the moment, it seems. So the teams are making their way out onto the field as we speak. The Melbourne Derby. Roderick Miranda starting tonight. That is one of the big stories in regards to team news. Roderick Miranda back to the starting lineup and wearing the captain's armband. So the teams are out on the pitch. Let's talk about those lineups. So for Melbourne Victory, Jack Duncan in goals, Josh Rawlins, Roderick Miranda, Lockie Jackson, and Jason Davidson are that back four. It's been a bit of a sort of a chopping and changing, shall we say, back four for Melbourne Victory so far this season. We have seen Seb Esposito start a couple games earlier on, Josh and Sarah coming in as well, but this feels like it's maybe a full strength back four here for Melbourne Victory, especially with Roderick Miranda returning. Nothing against those other players, but you got a lot of experience and quality in that back four there for Victory. Valadon Genro in midfield. Juan Mata starts the Melbourne Derby, and he was fantastic last week, starting his first game for Melbourne Victory and getting on the score sheet for Victory, having a good game overall in that 2-0 win against Perth Glory. So Juan Mata, he could really be the star player in this game. Keep an eye on him playing that number 10 role, which is the big conversation as well. Like now he's at Melbourne Victory, and we spoke about it pre-season, didn't we? We spoke about it pre-season, how this move sort of makes a little bit more sense because at Melbourne Victory, they do like to play with a number 10, with an attacking midfield, and Juan Mata can play that role now in this Victory setup, as opposed to Western Sydney Wanderers, who have a very sort of structured style of play under Alan Stajic, which isn't quite working at the moment. We'll talk about some of the other results this weekend that we're seeing. Wanderers maybe struggling a little bit at the moment. But yeah, Juan Mata starting here in the Melbourne Derby. Love to see it. Jelacic and Grimaldi in the wide positions for Victory. Nikos Virgos starting once again up top. Melbourne City, strong lineup for them. Obviously, a couple players missing, as is Beach still out with injury. Matt Leckie out with injury as well. Patrick Beach is starting in goals. And of course, Patrick Beach, he's the talk of the town. He earned his debut Socceroos call-up this past week. So really exciting for Patrick Beach. And well-deserved too. Well-deserved. G'day, Spencer says, evening, Lockie. About time Matter starts. Yeah, man. 2 consecutive starts. I can't even remember the last time he started a game for Wanderers. It must have been early on last season. I couldn't even tell if he started 2 consecutive games. Like, this might be one of the first times that Juan Mata's even playing 2 consecutive starts in the A-League. So, very excited to see what Juan Mata does tonight in the derby. Jason, thanks for bringing us our Melbourne weather update. Jason, who says, Melbourne CBD has had 14.4 millimeters of rain since midnight. There you go. Zachariah says, looking forward to this. Me too, man. Thanks for joining us. Troy's here. G'day, Troy. Good to see you, man. Says, hey, Lockie, good win for us yesterday. This one should be a classic Melbourne derby. Yeah, man. It's some high-quality players on show tonight. We are about to get underway with kickoff. What does the crowd look like? Estimation, asks A-League X. We'll have a look. We'll have a see. As this game has just kicked off. Certainly not a full house. Can see a bunch of empty seats, but it's looking like it's a pretty strong crowd in attendance. Hopefully over 20k. But of course, as we were just saying, maybe some the weather in Melbourne hasn't been that great. But there's still, of course, 2 very passionate football fan bases here: Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City. So we've done plenty of live watch-alongs for Melbourne derbies over the years. I remember we did one. It was like the first Melbourne derby last year. We did a live watch-along. And if you guys remember, that was that game when Melbourne Victory were just incredible in the opening minutes. They were in like the opening half, I should say. They scored, it was 2 or 3 goals. Like Ryan Teague scored, and they were just, Melbourne City just did not arrive. So let's see how this one starts. Caputo, City trying to get stuff happening in attack. Kanamori shoots from the edge of the box. Tame effort in the end. Great to see everyone joining us here. Welcome to the Oswatch Football Live Watch Along. We do pretty much weekly live watch alongs here on the A-League. This is round 4. Hope you guys have had a good weekend so far. City winning the ball, Heart the Park. Here we go. Great chance. Caputo. It's 1-0. Oh my goodness. May well be the quickest goal of the season so far. City lead. That was way too easy. Well, we talked about how Victory have got Roderick Miranda back in defense. Maybe their strongest backline. And this strongest backline, as I say, has conceded in under 90 seconds. Thank you for that, Mr. Met. Yeah, Auckland scored quicker. Yeah, Sam Cosgrove earlier, the Savo. But it's another early goal. Kuhn, Schreiber, and Kuhn through for Caputo, who's just far too much space between the centre backs. Was it Miranda who initially gave it away? Who gave it? Was it Miranda? Well, Max Caputo, he's in fine form, man. He's in great form. What a start for Melbourne City. They lead. Wowee. Wowee. What a start. If you're just joining us, we have a goal. That's his 4th goal of the season. He's level with Alex Badalado at the top of the Golden Boot race. 4 goals in 4 rounds into this season for Caputo. He also scored in the Champions League a couple weeks ago. Wow, what a start. What a start. Oh, that's a... Looked like a high elbow there on Schreiber. Play on. Physical start to this game as well. Great to see everyone in the live chat tonight. Spencer's is back in a 2-1 win for Victory. John P. G'day, John, who also said, what do we think of the number 64 kit for Juan Mata? Yeah, I don't know whether it has a meaning for him. I'm actually not aware. If anyone knows, let us know. You know, sometimes when it comes to those sort of random high numbers that we don't often see a player wearing the number 64. Generally, there's a bit of a story behind it, so who knows? Random minutes. Do you have super chat enabled? I believe yes. Yes, I believe so. As Juan Mata has a shot, but he slips in the box. Wow, Melbourne victory already on the back foot here early on. Incredible. Troy, who says, also good to meet you at the Wellington game. I didn't say too much. Didn't want to disturb you. No, it's all good, man. Just cool to finally see you. Pretty much been watching your videos since you started. Yeah, dude, really good to meet you, man. Yeah, for those who don't know, Troy's been a long-time viewer of the channel here. It's always great to see you in the live streams, man. And yeah, that was incredible. So basically, what happened is, it was during the Mariners, the doubleheader at the Mariners game last week. And for a brief moment at the end of the first half, I came and sat in a sort of a specific bay where the Mariners were attacking. Just sort of sat at the back. And then all of a sudden, Troy is literally just right next to me, which is an incredible coincidence. So yeah, it was great to meet you, man. It's it's always cool but surreal when I've met a few people in real life that have been like, oh yeah, watch your content. And it's yeah, it's always nice. It's really cool. 5 minutes into this derby, it's Melbourne City with the lead. John Oilier said, really nice finish from Caputo. G'day, Chris. Chris says, what's happening with A-League crowds? This should be filling up the stadium. It's certainly, there certainly are a number of empty seats. Considering the weather, perhaps that's a factor. Jason earlier as well said, Jason said it's 10.6 degrees. I love the preciseness there. 10.6 degrees. That is chilly. Dude, so wild. I'm up here in New South Wales and it's 25 degrees now, but earlier today it was over 30 degrees here in New South Wales. So Melbourne, complete contrast down there in Melbourne, hey. Spencer asks, do you get a lot of recognition at the games? Sometimes. There's Juan Mata. Oh, good save by Beach. Juan Mata with an effort on goal. Chipped in here once again for victory. City scrambling in defense. Melbourne victory looking to really bounce back quickly here. Juan Mata central to things. We haven't even had a real chance to sort of look at how these teams are actually lining up on the field. We've got the graphics up here on the screen, which I thought, would help us sort of keep track on in regards to who's actually lining up for these teams, how these teams are looking. Nathaniel Atkinson may well be playing at left back with Kutleshi at right back. We'll keep an eye on that. Alrighty. Atta Bear says, up the port. Up the port. If you guys missed it, a win for Auckland FC in the New Zealand Derby earlier this Arvo. A dramatic game. A 2-1 win for Auckland and 2 red cards for Auckland. Dramatic match. I caught the end of it. I caught the last half an hour or so, and yeah, man, it was an intense finish as Wellington were pushing, but unable to break through as Juan Mata sent in a free kick. Oh, Burgos with a little flick. Jelicic to pick it up. Juan Mata. Victory are really hunting this equaliser. Melbourne City are under the pump, but they could break here on the counter. Kanamori, who's surely been fouled. No. Looked like he was brought down as City were breaking away. Going back to Troy, who I met in person last week, says, I've actually seen you at games before, but the first time introducing myself, that moment from Theo not scoring the winner was hard to watch. Yes, I remember that. I remember that moment for Theo last week. Yeah. Yeah. That was obviously a... the Mariners last week. That was, I mean, we'll take the point in the end, but that certainly was frustrating with some of the good chances Mariners had in that second half last week. That's right, Adam. Yeah, that win for Auckland as well. Luke also a moment ago said, just had a look through Matters Wikipedia, and the only notable instance of the number 64 is the amount of appearances for Chelsea in 2012-13. Did he make 64 appearances that season? Is that right? Wow. That in that one season alone, 64. Spencer says this City keeper's quite good. She'll get a Socceroos call up with that laughing face, of course. Patrick Beach is in that Socceroos squad now. And well deserved too, man. He's made such a good start to this season. And I don't know if you guys caught the Asian Champions League Elite game midweek. City with a 2-1 win away to Machida Zelvia, which is huge for an Australian side to get a win away from home in the Champions League Elite. Is a huge 3 points for Melbourne City, and Patrick Beach was unbelievable in that game. Made some fantastic saves. Made some great saves. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight for this live watch along. Melbourne City have the lead and are looking good early on. Victory had a little good spell of possession. Kanamori edge of the box. Comes wide for Mazzeo. Kudleshi. City are building once more. Kudleshi's cross just goes across the face of goal. So, interesting start to this game. I mean, are you guys surprised? How are you feeling? Join the conversation. We are all about creating a community of like-minded football fans here. And it's great to see all you guys joining us here tonight. That's right, Troy, who said that, yep, Auckland dominated the New Zealand Derby. I mean, 4 New Zealand derbies so far. Auckland have won 4 out of 4 New Zealand derbies, which for Wellington Phoenix is simply unacceptable. City away down the right. Mazzeo's cross. Very heavy. Very heavy. Kept in by Caputo. Cohen's there. Melbourne City looking dangerous going forward today so far, man. Caputo. Oh, he's got it almost. Heavy touch straight to the hands of Duncan. So, we have ticked past 10 minutes into this Melbourne Derby. City have a 1-goal lead, courtesy of Max Caputo, who is the man in form. And it's been a really impressive start for Max Caputo. 4 goals in the A-League already. Could he be a contender for the Golden Boot come the end of this season? And of course, he took over at Melbourne City a couple of years ago from the A-League's greatest ever goal scorer in Jamie McLaren. You might remember a couple of years ago, McLaren was leading the line there at City, and Caputo was that young striker coming through. I remember I think he was 16, 17 or something like that when he came in and made his debut, and he's really taken over that striker role in the past couple of years now. Spencer says, mate, just on the Socceroos squad, do you think it's the right time for Popovic to experiment? Or do you think it's a little too late and should be focusing on a solid 26 to prepare and build chemistry? It's a good question. It's actually a really good question, man. This is concerning. Atkinson's down and he's holding, is it his left hamstring? This is maybe a injury concern for City, who do have a lot of injuries already. Atkinson's down and getting treated. Great question from Spencer. I don't know what you guys think. Feel free to chime in the live chat in regards to, should Popper continue experimenting? Like, is this still the right time for experimentation? Or should we be getting that starting 11 or just the overall squad really gelling and have a, basically should the squad for the upcoming games, should it have been a squad that's going to look pretty similar to what we take to the World Cup? I think this is certainly the last chance, the last window for experimentation. Like, the next window is what, like March, right? And isn't that like the last one before the World Cup, the last proper window before the World Cup? So this is absolutely surely the last one. I'm okay for him to do a little bit more experimentation. Again, some real surprise call-ups in this recent Socceroos squad. I did a video talking about it, which I put out here on the channel yesterday if you want to check that out if you haven't done so. But yeah, I think, look, I mean, it's good. I think it's good to be bringing back. We should acknowledge that, this is a window to bring back Jackson Irvine, Riley McGree, who could well be key players at the World Cup next year and haven't featured for some time. So McGree, who else? McGree, Jackson Irvine. There was someone else that was returning too, but yeah, man. Also, there's a lot of injuries, as Socceroos have a bit of an injury issue at the moment, and other players out. So yeah, it's an interesting one in regards to that Socceroos squad. So this is a big blow for Melbourne City, just 13 minutes into this game. Goodwin, that's the other one. Thanks, Troy. And Luke as well. Luke and Troy in the live chat there mentioning Craig Goodwin, yeah. As Adstar earlier said, great, glad to see McGree back in the squad. Luke also earlier said this should be his last experimental squad. So, back at this Melbourne Derby, real concern for Atkinson, who's walking off looking quite gingerly. So, Peter Antonio is onto the field, the young fullback. We'll keep an eye on how that City backline lines up as Victory have a corner. Look at the number of players crowded around the keeper, Patrick Beach. In swinger from One Mata. Oh, Miranda's gone down. One Mata chips it to the back post. Still on for Victory here, dude. If they can just find someone in the middle. Jelassic. Corner again for Victory, folks. Adstar also said, I believe Popper should concentrate on chemistry. Look, I don't mind that Popper is utilising these windows to really give a whole number of players a chance. That's clearly been the objective. He wants to show all these players that they are in with a chance. Chaos in the box. Davidson. Great chance. Wow, the ball fell for Jason Davidson and his strike sailed high over the bar. Disappointed there, Davidson. What a chance for Victory. Best chance of the game for them. Spencer says, if there's one thing I've learned, Popper loves Metcalf, Boyle, and Aaron Kunda. Yeah, those guys have been pretty regulars of late, haven't they? Spencer also says, keep an eye on James Overy as well, boys. Man United prodigy. Gonna be a gun for us. And yeah, dude, I mean, that was a surprise, but a welcome surprise. He's a player with enormous potential. And I remember his a couple of appearances for the young Socceroos in the Under-20 World Cup back in, September, October. He looked very, very good. And isn't he only like 17, 18? He's still so young. So James Overy getting the chance. I mean, to be fair, a couple injuries. Right wing back, obviously Jacob Italiano currently out. Jordy Boss at left wing back out with injury. So yeah, it's opened the door. These injuries have opened the door for some players who might not have gotten a look in at this point, but talented players. All those guys have been called up. Jelassic's coming forward down the right for Victory. Chasing this equaliser early on in this game here, Melbourne Victory. Valadon, Jean Rowe. Good pass by Jean Rowe. Valadon's in the box. Great chance for Victory. City scrambling to get it clear. Oh! As the offside flag is up. Jean Rowe was taken out, but the flag is up. Here we go. John in the live chat says, I looked up the story on Mata wearing the number 64. He wears it as a tribute to his parents who were both born in 1964. Is that right? There you go. Wow. Thanks for that, John. When does Sydney FC play? Asks Troy. Sydney FC play tomorrow, Arvo. They take on MacArthur FC. That is 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. That should be an interesting game, actually. Sydney FC, who are coming into this round with good form, 2 consecutive wins. That big 4-1 win last week. And, of course, Al Hassan Toure at Sydney FC. He got a Socceroos call up this week. But the Bulls, man, I do think the Bulls are looking all right at the moment. They got a win in the Champions League 2 midweek as well. 2-1 win at home. The other game tomorrow as well, Brisbane Roar are hosting Newcastle Jets, a game that I believe is being played on the Sunshine Coast, north of Brisbane. Two games last night as well. Adelaide United defeated Western Sydney Wanderers 2-0. The Reds looking good, and Wanderers, real concerns for them now, heading into the international break without a win. Mazzeo, City coming forward. Mazzeo, almost tries to get, sort of ricocheted around, and Jack Duncan has it, but Ben Mazzeo, good little burst of pace there off the wing. Victory on the counter-attack. Here we go. Oh, great challenge. Kudleshi. That reminds me, we had that sub for City earlier. If you missed it, Nathaniel Atkinson is off. It's a big blow. Huge blow for Melbourne City. They've got so many injuries at the moment too, don't they? A lot of injuries. Peter Antonio's on at left back to replace Atkinson. An early substitution as Rahmani. Kuhn was offside. So City with the lead, courtesy of Max Caputo. Victory, pretty eager to get this equaliser quickly. They're really going for it. Grimaldi, Davidson in attack. Dangerous cross. Truman clears. Spencer, of course, Spencer, Brisbane Roar fan, joining us in the live chat tonight. Good to see you here, as always, Spencer. Says Roar v Jets tomorrow as well. Up the Roar. Pretty cool to see Brisbane taking the game to Sunshine Coast. Obviously, Brisbane Roar, the only A-League club in Queensland, which is something that I, as well as many other people, think should change. I do think we need a second club in Queensland when it comes to A-League expansion. One of the areas I always mention is we need another Queensland club. Yes, we did have two there before. Here's one Mata. Oh, not far away. Well, Juan Matas in the opening 20 minutes has been very lively. He's gotten on the ball quite a lot. Oh, dude, agonizingly close, and he knew it. It was... you could just see from Juan Matas' reaction as well. He was left foot. Oh, dude, that was so close. Look the replays. They're just like the ball just faded past that corner. Incredible. Going back to that Queensland discussion there. Spencer, yeah, dude. I mean, Gold Coast United. I'd love to see another A-League club on the Gold Coast. I think that makes a lot of sense. Pretty strong population there. Luke also mentions they had a few starts in the Sunshine Coast too. Yeah, well, I remember one of those big stories in pre-season. I think it was like in August. Brisbane Roar hosted Central Coast Mariners in a pre-season friendly, and didn't they get like wasn't it like 6,000 or 7,000 fans for a pre-season friendly? It's just incredible. So, yeah, it's quite something. Troy also mentions Ipswich would be interesting, but I think the fan base would be too small. Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting for them to do something more regional. Kudleshi, City. Every time Melbourne Victory win the ball, just getting forward. Everyone's getting forward, man. Pretty eager to play forwards when they can. Casey says, "Bring back the Fury." I'd be down for that too, eh? Spencer also says, "Sunshine Coast Seahawks." Sounds cool. Says just came up with a name. Don't mind it, eh? Luke says, "I remember something about 8K on Sunshine Coast." Is that right? Is that 8,000? Troy mentions about Ipswich. Says, "I used to live there, so I think that's probably why, but I think it would be fun." And hey, like the thing is why I think Queensland needs another club. I mean, New South Wales has 5 clubs now. Melbourne, Victoria used to have 3 clubs, and hopefully they do have 3 clubs going forward. For this season, they just have the 2, but Western United, we hope they return. And so you just look at the size of Queensland, like the population that's in Queensland. They need a second team up there. and create a Brisbane Derby. Wouldn't that be great? A Brisbane Derby and fill out Suncorp Stadium. I don't know, man. The derbies, as we know, are always the biggest games in this league. Of course, Melbourne Derby here tonight, and pretty strong attendance despite the bad weather in Melbourne. So, yeah, man. Second Brisbane team. Oh, look, whether it's a second Brisbane team or you do Gold Coast or even, I mean, someone mentioned Fury. Casey mentioned bring back the Fury. You could go North Queensland or, somewhere regional, Sunshine Coast. Who knows? But yeah, that would be one of my next picks. I mean, we all want Canberra next. We all want Canberra in the A-League men's. We got Canberra in the A-League women. Bring Canberra in the A-League men's. And then second Queensland team. That's me. That's my thoughts, at least. It's just my opinion. Spencer mentions Tassie, then Canberra, another Queensland, and maybe Darwin should be next. Blue Corsa says even 3 teams up there would be good. Yeah. Tasmania is another one. I mean, like, Tasmania doesn't really have... The thing about Tasmania is that their state... Like, there's been a number of A-League games that have been played down in Tasmania. Western United in their early seasons did play a number of fixtures in Tassie. But they have to play at, like, ovals, and which isn't great for football. For the round ball game. A round oval isn't good for the round ball game. We want these small rectangular grounds, man. So, yeah, whether Tassie could build like a decent little rectangular stadium, that'd be nice, hey? Adsta asks, are there any championship Queensland sides? Yes, there is Moreton City Excelsior, who, I haven't even checked their score. Moreton City Excelsior were playing Sydney Olympic earlier this afternoon. If someone in the live chat could drop the scores for the Australian Championship, I haven't even had a chance to check them. It's been a busy day. Busy day of football. 3 games in the A-League women, 2 games in the A-League men, Oz Championship in its second last round of the group stage. Wollongong Wolves. Yeah, Spencer mentions Wollongong Wolves. I'd love it. It'd be great. As Davidson shoots from range, but it's well wide. Victory still searching for this equaliser. I would love Wollongong Wolves. I think we would all like Wollongong Wolves. They're a big club, and they are currently competing in the Australian Championship, and the only reason why they're not on my list, like sort of my next 3 or 4 A-League expansion teams, is because we already have so many teams in New South Wales. Mariners, Jets, Sydney FC, Wanderers and Macarthur. 5 teams in New South Wales. So for me, we need to sort of balance that out. And look, I live in New South Wales, I'm like, let the other states have a bit of a turn. One Matters in the box. Great chance. Oh, my goodness. Grimaldi has got his connection all wrong and has sent it well over the bar. But again, Melbourne Victory looking threatening, and One Matter, again, is central to things. Oh, Grimaldi, that is... Grimaldi, you could see after he shot, after he took the strike there, Matt Grimaldi, he looked down at the turf as if like, whoa, what was that? Blame the grass, Matt. Blame the grass. Beautiful stadium, Amy Park. Beautiful ground. Never been. I've never been. I'd love to get there one day. Amy Park. City have the lead in the derby, folks. An early goal for Max Caputo. Hit that like button. Support the channel. We are all about creating a community of like-minded Australian football fans and fan channels, all that sort of the fan world on social media and on YouTube are really important. So I think it's important that we make some noise, us fans, we make some noise about Australian football and of course in particular the A-Leagues, competition that we do love. Jean Rowe, here's Victory. Virgos, oh, good save. Wow, well that's probably the first time Patrick Beach has actually had to make a save. Patrick Beach getting down to his right well as Virgos. His shot was on target. Jean Rowe sends one in. Away by Truan. City are under the pump now, man. Yeah. Spencer says, are you sure it's Amy Park? It looks like wet and wild out there. There are certainly a lot of players slipping over. And we had Jason earlier on in the live chat mentioned that apparently the Melbourne CBD in the last, I think it's since midnight, has had something like 14.4 millimeters of rain apparently. Challenges flying in. A yellow card's coming out of the pocket for Denny Jean Rowe. Herman Ferreira is down hurt at the moment after that challenge. Denny Jean Rowe was flying in. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, really dangerous. I mean, 2 dangerous challenges from Denny Jean Rowe. I mean, both of those tackles are cardable offences. I'll just put that out there. Like, probably it'd be a bit harsh to give him 2 yellow cards at once for both challenges, but both of those challenges from Jean Rowe were late. Were very, very late. Troy says, I had a look from the outside and went to the little office downstairs too when I was at the Australian Open a few years back. Decent from the outside. Needs to try and make an away Mariners game one day. I mean, it looks cool from the outside, doesn't it? I mean, I've just seen pictures, but yeah, Amy Park, sort of that the bubble-like exterior looks really cool and unique, doesn't it? G'day, football time. Did you see, who asked that? Did you see the New Zealand Derby? It was ridiculous. Yeah, I caught the last like half an hour of it. Insane stuff. 2 red cards. Great drama. I mean, Wellington Phoenix seriously pushing at the end there, but unable to get their equaliser against 9 players. Incredible. Luke also says, speaking for the New Zealand Derby as a neutral, I'm excited to see 2 fairly informed teams from across the Tasman. It's incredible too. I mean, 4 New Zealand derbies and Auckland have won all of them. You know, and there's been two in Wellington and 2 in Auckland. And even the 2 games in Wellington, Auckland have won both. So for Wellington Phoenix, this side who has been around for a long time now, they will not be happy. They will not be happy. Let's try and spread these shirts out. There we go. That's a bit better. Got a few jerseys in the backdrop here. What do you guys make of it? Couple Mariners jerseys. For any new viewers joining us, I'm a Mariners fan. You can check out our Coast Watch Football, our dedicated Mariners fan channel. Earlier today, I put out my video review for Mariners and their 1-0 win against Perth Glory last night. Got a couple of old school Socceroos jerseys up as well. City's free kick, Schreiber. Deep delivery. Far too deep. Misses everyone. Spencer says, hoping I live to see a men's World Cup in Australia. Maybe one day, Spencer. We can dream. Obviously, an incredible time to have the Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand in 2023. I got to a couple of the games. We did a couple of vlogs at those games, which are on this channel, which you can scroll back and find from 2023. So that was awesome stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll get the Men's World Cup here one day as well. City just trying to get something happening in attack, but Baladon clears. So we've passed the half an hour mark, folks. Melbourne City have the lead. It's 1-0. One 0 to Melbourne City. Max Caputo scoring in under 90 seconds. Great start for Melbourne City. Troy says, to be fair, Auckland have a stacked team. Love them all. I still have my, in regards to the jerseys Troy's talking about, love them all. I still have my 2018-19 one. Love it. Yeah, I'm I wouldn't consider myself like a big jersey collector. I know a lot of football fans love collecting their jerseys. I've only got a handful. I've only got a few. I should turn around this one, actually. There we go. That's better. I like to remind everyone that comes into our live streams that Mariners were the A-League Men's Champions in 2023. There we go. There we go. We're all right. Hope you guys have been enjoying your weekend so far. Wherever you're joining us, wherever you are in the world, it is, well, I believe it's pretty much Saturday, wherever you are in the world. Just about, maybe. Ramani coming forward for City. Kanamori for Mazzeo. Here comes City. Oh! Shot from Ben Mazzeo. Fired across the face of goal. Not too bad. He's looking dangerous so far as well. Jason says, going back to that conversation about the Men's World Cup, maybe in Australia one day. Jason says, if we have a Men's World Cup, it'll be a co-host. I wonder who would co-host it with. Maybe New Zealand again? Kuhn chipping it forward. Can't find a teammate. Melbourne City, they are trailing, but they are looking dangerous when they get on the attack. It feels like it's been a fairly even game so far. Victory have had a couple good opportunities. Jason Davidson firing across over the bar from close range. One Mata, not too far away earlier as well. He's been very good so far this game. One Mata, starting once again. Great to see him finally being utilised in his natural position, One Mata. When you have a World Cup winner play with English Premier League, UEFA Champions League experience, you got to play him in his best position. Peter Antonio can't find a forward pass for Caputo. As Victory are looking a bit more solid defensively now after conceding that early goal. In regards to Luke, I believe, commenting regarding to the co-hosting for a Men's World Cup maybe one day, says New Zealand and possibly Indonesia / Papua New Guinea. That would be interesting. That'd be interesting. It'd be great to host a Men's World Cup one day. Andreas Kuhn is bursting down the left and crossing a ball, but his delivery is far too powerful. It's gone out of play, and we are getting closer and closer to half time. And again, this feels like a pretty even game so far. I haven't had a chance to glance at the stats, but I imagine it's actually pretty even. But it's Melbourne City who lead in the most important statistic of all, goals. Goals! Chilly evening in Melbourne. Rainy evening in Melbourne. Melbourne Derby. And of course, it's not just a Melbourne Derby. It's a rematch of the grand final from last season, which we should highlight as well. Cracking game it was in the grand final. Melbourne City winning that grand final. Jonathan Cohen with the goal. City claiming the championship. Melbourne Victory. Melbourne Victory haven't won silverware in the A-League since 2018. That was the grand final, right? They did win the Australia Cup back in 2021. Was it 2021 or 2022? It's one of those years. think it was 2022. I believe that was the year they won the Australia Cup. Someone correct me if I'm mistaken. The Melbourne Victory. A club who many consider to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in Australian football. Melbourne Victory. They haven't won A-League silverware since 2018. That's the last year Newcastle Jets played finals football as well. Right? One Mata, bit of space. Driving forward. Davidson. Here come Victory. Surely they get something going here, Victory. Can they get fashion a chance? One Mata's picking up little pockets of space, looking dangerous. Valadon's getting forward. Genro. They've got the players to do it, man. They've got the players to unlock City, haven't they? One Mata. Down the right for Jelassic. Keegan Jelassic. Cutting in. Mata. Genro shoots. Blocked. And cleared away to the sideline. City scrambling in defence once more. As Troy asks here as well, when were Newcastle last in the finals? Was it 2018? I could actually be mistaken. Apologies to Jets fans if I am, but 2018, the year they got to the grand final. I don't think they've made finals since, have they? Yeah. Five or so minutes before halftime, folks. Stick around at the break. We'll talk about all the other A-League men action from this round. Couple games tomorrow. Couple games were played yesterday. Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City. Two teams who demand finals football year in, year out. Melbourne City, they've had a busy schedule so far this season. Juggling the A-League and, of course, the Asian Champions League Elite. And they've made an okay start to the Champions League Elite. 2 wins, 2 losses. But for an Aussie side in the Champions League Elite, that competition specifically, that is a good start. A really, really good start. 6 points already on the board in the Champions League Elite. City are eyeing a spot in the knockout phase. Halfway through the league phase, Melbourne City. So have they got the quality and the depth to be successful in both the A-League and the Asian Champions League Elite this season? Troy says, Mata frustrated he isn't getting rewarded with his good passes. Yeah. He's probably been Victory's best player. Look at even just like the running that he's doing. And he's just then he was asking Virgos to sort of help the press as well and push up. One Mata is having a real influential game. Nice work from Miranda, winning it at the back. One Mata pushed off it. No foul. Play on. City. Doing a decent job of maintaining their defensive structure as Victory are a lot of movement from their midfielders here. Victory. One Mata's all over the place. And I mean that in the best way possible. You don't know where he's going to pop up. He's drifting into the wide areas at times. That's right, Jason. World Cup draw in December. Yeah, it is a shame that it is at a pretty uncomfortable time, Australian time. Hey, 4 a.m. AEDT, as Jason says there. 4 a.m. But of course, that'll be a huge day. As Victory in behind. Jason Davidson. Ferreira got back with a header clearance. But yes, Jason, we are very much looking forward to that World Cup draw to find out who the Socceroos will be playing in the A-League, in the World Cup next year. So Ferreira just Just taking a second here after he made that headed clearance. Did well to head that ball clear, but just needed a moment here. Hey? That's right, Troy. Yeah, we want to try and avoid France or Denmark because Australia have drawn those teams a couple times recently. So, something different. I mean, two fantastic footballing nations, man. So, we want to maybe try and get a slightly easier draw if we can. But yeah, that's. I just realised that. So the World Cup draw is what's today's date? Today's the Saturday, the 8th of November. So there you go. The World Cup draw, less than a month away. And yeah, we'll obviously be doing a video here on. We'll do something here on the live on the channel here, maybe a live stream to react to who the Socceroos get in the World Cup draw for next year. Obviously, we know an expanded format in the World Cup for next year, the Men's World Cup. Big year next year. We got the Men's World Cup in, what is it, June, July, whatever it is, middle of the year. Is it June or July? I keep forgetting. And we've got the Women's Asian Cup in Australia. That's in March next year. Matilda's eyeing a title there, a trophy. Big, huge competition for the Matildas next year, that Asian Cup at home soil. So City have the ball in a good area of the pitch here. 4 minutes added on, folks. 4 minutes added on. Melbourne City are in a good position with these throw-ins. Let's see if they can find a second goal. Oh, nice pass. Kudleshi crosses. Oh, come on. It feels like there's been like 3 or 4 occasions now where City have gotten to really good positions, but the crosses that have been coming in have just been way too deep. It's happened numerous times now, whether it's like coming off a free kick or just in open play. Crosses are just being completely overhit. They got to find a little bit more accuracy. 4 minutes added on total here. Stick around at halftime. We'll talk about all the other games in the A-League this weekend. And of course, we might have a bit of a discussion here in the live chat in regards to that Socceroos squad that was announced yesterday, which I did a video talking about, reacting to, giving my thoughts, and certainly a surprising squad, but an exciting squad. Juan Mata gets it down the line for Jelassic, who's in behind. Jelassic cuts in. Great chance. Beach spills it. And it's cleared by Kutleshi, who's having a busy game in defence. But Patrick Beach doing enough to halt the progress of Keegan Jelassic. If you guys have any comments or questions as well, feel free to throw them in the live chat, and we'll jump in at the halftime break. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. You can also consider sending in a super chat to support the channel. Grimaldi's on the edge of the box. He's shooting. It was a decent shot. Had the power on it, but now Socceroos goalkeeper, after getting his first Socceroos call up, Patrick Beach was behind that, straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Shots at goal stats on the broadcast: 10 for Melbourne Victory, 3 for Melbourne City. I mean, Melbourne City have had, again, as we mentioned a moment ago, City have gotten forward quite a lot in this first half, but hasn't necessarily resulted in shots. But Melbourne Victory, there you go, 10 shots at goal for Melbourne Victory so far this half. But Patrick Beach has only had to make maybe a couple saves so far. So Melbourne Victory, I mean, look at this Victory lineup, man, and it's like, I mean, it's not, there's maybe still a few players missing, but it's still a very strong starting 11 that Victory have on the field. Ooh, great question, Luke. Great question from Luke. I just saw in the live chat. We'll definitely have to bring that one up in the halftime break. Looks like the City staff are just having a chat with Liam Bonatig on the sidelines. Maybe a substitute for the second period. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe he comes on and Kai Truan pushes into midfield, defensive midfield. Of course, Kai Truan also receiving a Socceroos call-up. Kai Truan is playing in defence tonight for Melbourne City. Well deserved. I think he's been great so far this season and was very good last season. And whether he plays in midfield or in defence, he usually puts in a very solid shift, Kai Trulin. Half-time whistle just around the corner here. Victory have looked good going forward in attack. Juan Mata has probably been their best player. There's the whistle. It's a 1-goal lead for Melbourne City at the break, folks. What did you make of that first half? Drop your thoughts and assessment on the game so far in the comments. Or if you got any comments or questions on anything A-Leagues related, or even about that recent Socceroos squad, or anything Oz football related, throw them in the live chat right now. Would love to join the discussion with you guys in the live chat. I'm going to go get some more water, and we'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty. So, City lead at the break, 1-0. Probably favourite setting into this game, Melbourne City. I don't know if you guys would agree. All right. What are we saying here? It's a great question from Luke in the live chat a moment ago. I wanted to bring up this one and would love for you guys to chime in as well in regards to this question regarding the head coaches for the A-League men's teams there at Western Sydney Wanderers and Melbourne Victory. Luke asks, who do you think has the hottest seat at the moment? Stajic or Dillis? Alan Stajic at Western Sydney Wanderers, who have had a pretty underwhelming start to this season. 2 draws, 2 losses, Western Sydney Wanderers. Lost 2-0 to Adelaide last night and looked like they sort of just ran out of ideas in attack. Western Sydney Wanderers last night. And Melbourne Victory, who before tonight's game right now, which we are halfway through, have 1 win, 1 draw, and 1 loss. And of course, a very disappointing loss a fortnight ago against Newcastle Jets. That 5-2 loss to Newcastle. Really disappointing result. It's an interesting question, Luke. I think I would say Alan Stajic. I think you consider the fact that Dillis, to be fair, did get Victory to the grand final last season. If Victory do go on to lose this game, I think that win against Perth Glory was important, but it's Perth Glory who are just really struggling once again at the moment. So I don't think either of those guys are under serious pressure right now. I think it is still so early on the season. But as we get to, it's going to be interesting to see as we go through December. And for me, sort of a good sort of line to sort of judge things by, for me, is like the end of the calendar year. So, New Year's Eve. It's all about where is your team sitting in New Year's Eve, because by that stage we are pretty well into the season. We're a couple months into the season, and we have a really good sense of how teams are going and the trajectory of these teams. And I think of Wanderers. Wanderers have a good team this season, maybe still missing some players in some key positions, but I think if Wanderers aren't in the top 6, maybe there's some serious pressure on Alan Stajic, if Wanderers aren't in the top 6 by New Year's Eve. And I think the same thing is for Melbourne Victory. I think if Melbourne Victory aren't in the top 6, then maybe by New Year's Eve, then maybe there is pressure on Dillis. But my answer to that question, I would say, I think I would say Stajic. Just because, it's not looking too good to start this season. Quite underwhelming. LFC also mentioned earlier, said Victory's attacking inefficiency strikes again. Zachariah also asks thoughts on the game so far. Well, from a neutral point of view, it's been an enjoyable watch. I think City have been good so far. They are looking decent in attack, despite just having a few shots. Defensively scrambling pretty well. Patrick Beach called into action a couple times. And Melbourne Victory aren't playing bad either. They are in this game. It's still just a 1-goal game. So it still feels quite even. But Victory need to start hitting the target a little bit more. How about that? Jason also in the live chat a moment ago mentioned that Sunday week, November 16, will mark the 20th anniversary of the Socceroos versus Uruguay 2006 World Cup qualifier in Sydney. Wow. Wowee. 20th anniversary. Isn't that incredible? Luke also mentions, who would have thought that Tale wouldn't be in this conversation, the hot seat conversation, yeah. Considering that he definitely had the hot seat before the season started. Stajic would be my opinion too. Yeah, I mean, credit to Sydney getting those 2 wins. I mean, we'll see how they go tomorrow against MacArthur. So, yeah, it's still so early in the season, man. But, yeah, Sydney FC with those 2 wins, very important for Ufuk Talay. That's the thing. It's all about results, especially when you're at these big clubs. Melbourne Victory, Melbourne City, Sydney FC, Western Sydney Wanderers. Like, these are clubs that demand success. And clubs that have experience in the past winning trophies. So, if you're not getting at least finals football, it's just not acceptable. Like, I still think... I'm still very surprised that Sydney FC didn't part ways with Ufuk Talay at the end of last season, in my opinion. I think the fact that Sydney didn't make finals last season was simply unacceptable with the squad they had. So, yeah. But hey, they have decided to stick with Ufuk Talay, and they've got 2 consecutive wins and a big game tomorrow against MacArthur FC. A-League X says, one matter looks like Messi. I assume you mean in like the way he's playing, or do you mean he like actually looks like Messi? Juan Mata has been very good this first half. He has been very, very good. And again, to raise that point, this is what happens when you play him in his natural position. He's an attacking midfielder, and he didn't get to play that position at Wanderers last season. He's come to Melbourne Victory, and it was a good move for Juan Mata. He's been linking up things. He was very close on one occasion too to scoring himself, Juan Mata. Scored his first victory goal last week as well. Juan Mata. Awesome to see. It's just, I mean, again, we shouldn't forget. Like, he's now been in the competition, but this is his second year now in the competition, Juan Mata. It's still just incredible that we have a player of Juan Mata's quality and experience playing in our competition. It really is awesome. And it's great to have Douglas Costa here last season. Unfortunately, he's not here this season, but yeah, man. Alrighty. Apologies, Alex. Thanks for clarifying. Says, yep, in regards to Juan Mata, says he's controlling the game. Looks like he's on another level at 37 too. That's right, yeah. Great to see. He's been very influential for Victory, and if they keep getting him involved in the game, that's probably the way back into this game here for Victory. They got to get Juan Mata, continue to give him the ball. Give him those opportunities to create for his teammates, because yeah, it's been good. Big moment early on in this game as well. Nathaniel Atkinson off with an injury. It looks pretty innocuous too. He just sort of pulled up with a something. It appeared to be his left hamstring, Nathaniel Atkinson, and it's concerning for City as well because Aziz Baich is already out with injury. Samuel Soprine is out with injuries. So a couple of key defensive players there out. There's a few other players who are missing as well, who aren't coming to my mind at this stage. But yeah. Matt Leckie, that was the other big one as well. Matt Leckie's out with injury at Melbourne City. Of course, it's great to see Andrew Naboot return in recent weeks. He came off the bench last week against Brisbane in that scoreless draw, and he also scored the winner entering a boot in the Asian Champions League Elite on Tuesday night, which was a huge moment for not just him, but for Melbourne City as a club. Troy also a moment ago said, in regards to Sydney FC, says Sydney are a long way from the Lafondra, Bobo, Ninkovic days. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. And even like before those guys, I mean, Mijieski, Filip Holosko, Mark Yanko, had some fantastic players there, Sydney FC. Alex Brosk. That sort of era, the late 2010s, the early 2020s there for Sydney FC. They had some big name players, and they've got some good players there once again this season. Mark, g'day Mark, who says, I believe it's Mark, says, I've always been a huge Mata fan, but Melbourne City is a better team overall in my opinion. LFC9 also says, Jurassic looked solid. Yep, he has looked solid indeed. Luke also a moment ago said, hopefully Mata starts more. Wonder how many more years he has in him and if he stays in Australia next season. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Great to see that, you know, he's playing a pretty key role in this game here for victory. Luke also says Mata seems very positive about the game down under. Yep. Yeah, even just like listening to him in interviews and stuff, and it's cool, man. It's really cool to have a player of his caliber and his, you know, experience and you know, where he's been in world football. He's obviously done it all, really. One Mata. To have him playing in the A-League regularly week in, week out now. It's awesome to see. And I remember, wasn't there like a story, or there was like a comment that he made or something about Bruno Fernandes, Manchester United player, how like maybe he could interest him down to the A-League as well, which that'd be cool. Obviously, there was another big story pre-season, some talk around Mario Balotelli, and his well, reportedly he was interested in coming to the A-League. Obviously, never came to fruition, but that'd be cool to have someone like Mario Balotelli in the A-League as well. Mark asks, how likely is Melbourne Victory to come back from here? I mean, they're still absolutely in it. When you simply just look at the number of shots that they've had, they are creating chances and just a one-goal game. So, Victory are certainly in this game. Luke says, have to say that the moment between Mata and Badalado after the Jets victory game was pure class. Yeah, I remember that. He like sort of had like a little word with him, which was cool to see. When Mata was speaking to Badalado, that incredible game where Badalado scored that stunning hat-trick. Yeah, Alex Badalado has been one of the stars early on this season of the A-League. 4 goals already, level with Max Caputo at the top of the Golden Boot race in the A-League men's. Troy also mentions, remember Carl Jenkinson? He is still playing in League 2 in England. There you go, I didn't know that. Yeah, he was a bit of a funny one. Carl Jenkinson, he was at Melbourne City and then he went to Newcastle Jets. And remember that last season he was in the A-League, he didn't really get much game time with the Jets. He was sitting on the bench quite a lot. So, yeah, that was an interesting one. But yeah, he was a, former Arsenal player, pretty big club in world football. Yeah. On the broadcast, they're showing some of the highlights from that New Zealand derby. Don't know if you guys caught it earlier today. New Zealand derby, Auckland winning 2-1 and had 2 players sent off. 2 red cards for Auckland FC. Incredible stuff. So Auckland FC are dominating the New Zealand derby, Wellington Phoenix. Losing their first loss of the season. Troy also says, my club, up the Gunners. Troy's an Arsenal fan. There you go. Mariners fan and an Arsenal fan. So, well, that's interesting. The second half is just about to get underway, but the broadcast just showed for a moment there. It looks like Liam Bonatic is on the field. So, we'll see what the change is looking like here for Melbourne City. My prediction is that Kai Truan might shift into midfield and maybe Maybe Bonatig comes in at the back. But, I mean, Ferreira was down for a moment after heading the ball out of play. So maybe Herman Ferreira could be coming off and maybe Bonatig on. So City have already had one player come off due to injury. Atkinson walked off pretty gingerly by the looks of things. Peter Antonio is on at left back. Melbourne Victory, they are chasing the game. We'll keep an eye on them heading into the second half to see whether they've made any changes. Luke also said, that was a great game. Made the New Zealand Derby feel like one of the biggest days in our season. It certainly is. It certainly is. I mean, they're two big clubs, Wellington Phoenix, Auckland FC, New Zealand Derby. They've all been really fun games to watch, man. So, second half, folks. Here we go. In the Melbourne Derby, a rematch of last season's A-League Men's Grand Final. Big change. Big change. Scanning across the pitch. Looks like Melbourne City may have brought off Kavian Rahmani. Melbourne City, to my eyes, have gone through a big reshuffle. Big reshuffle. Might even be some sort of a change of shape to somewhat of a 4-4-2, maybe? Looks like Schreiber and Truan are now that main central midfield pair. So, the questions are being asked now of Melbourne Victory. Can they make a comeback in this contest? That Melbourne Derby loss, that A-League Grand Final Melbourne Derby loss will be fresh in their memories, Melbourne Victory. They'll be eager to get their revenge. Here's Grimaldi. Good chance for victory early on in the half. Davidson. Beach plucks it out of the air. Well done. Melbourne Victory did look very threatening in that first half. They created the chances. Down the left go Melbourne City as if they could take a 2-goal lead, that could be enough for them to hold on, you feel like. This is a well-drilled and well-organised Melbourne City side. Alrighty. So there's your updated City lineup here on our live watch-along. Melbourne City have gone through a big reshuffle at halftime. Kavian Rahmani, who was playing on the left wing, has been substituted off at the break. And centre-back Liam Bonatig is on. So, that has meant that several players have changed positions. Bonatig is in at centre-back. As Kanamori has it now on the wing. Kanamori... Oh, decent effort. Good save by Duncan. So, Takeshi Kanamori, who was in midfield in the first half, he's on the left wing now. Kai Truan has jumped up into midfield alongside Zane Schreiber and Andreas Kuhn. So, the centre-backs now for City, Ferreira and Bonatig. Yes, Troy. Liam Bonatig is related to Alex Bonatig. I believe they are brothers. It's a good question, Luke, or a good comment, rather. It says, I wonder if Beach will feature against the South American teams, or if Popper will stick with the usual suspects. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he gets a chance. It'll be great for Patrick Beach just to be in the squad and to, learn off the likes of Matty Ryan and Paul Izzo, to top quality goalkeepers. Yeah, man. It'd be interesting to see him get a chance, but surely you'd feel like either Paul Izzo or Matty Ryan. Again, it feels like those two guys are really pushing each other for that starting goalkeeper spot. I feel like Paul Izzo's maybe taking over as number one now, but two great options there for the Socceroos. Corner coming up for victory as they look to equalise early in the second half. course, there's big games coming up for the Socceroos. Those friendly matches against Venezuela and Colombia next week. At reasonably comfortable times. Sometimes, if the Socceroos our Australian teams are playing in Europe, the kickoff times can be sort of in the middle of the night, but it's sort of in the middle of the day here, Australian time. The Socceroos game. Does Grimaldi? Oh, what a save! Well, maybe Patrick Beach should be starting for the Socceroos, because that was an incredible stop. Oh my... We were just talking about him, and Patrick Beach has pulled off one of the saves of the season so far. That's right, Troy. Beach in the fire emoji. What a stop. Matza with another corner. Headed away by Truan, another Socceroo. Wow, that is, I mean... There's been some good saves this season so far. That is probably the save of the season so far from Beach. That reflex stop was unbelievable. Jelassic has it, edge of the box. He shoots, deflection over the bar. Good block from Bonatig. Wowee. Victory are pushing. Luke with another good question here. Says, do you think it was the right call to bring Gauchi out of the squad? Beach 100% deserves a call up, but was it deserved benching for Gauchi? I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you look at Patrick Beach, he's just in great form. So Joe Gauchi has been playing regularly for Port Vale in League One, but Patrick Beach, I don't mind it. Give him an opportunity, especially, again, as we were saying earlier, like these windows, it is maybe a little bit more about that experimentation. So you may as well bring in a younger goalkeeper who sort of new to the Socceroos setup. I believe he was in like he was in a training camp or something, a development camp earlier this year with the Socceroos, Patrick Beach, but it wasn't officially a part of the squad. According to the broadcast, 13 shots at goal for Melbourne victory, 4 for Melbourne City. How about that? 13-4. Victory need to try and find some more shots on target, but Patrick Beach has been superb. Ooh, what's happened there? Zane Schreiber. Bit of push and shove. Denny Genre and Caputo. There's a little bit of heat in this Melbourne Derby, as we always can expect. Does look like, in terms of formation and tactics, it does look like that City are playing more of a 4-4-2, which they do tend to shift into at times when the game demands it. As LFC also says, that Beach save was insane. Yeah. Save of the season for me. Unbelievable from Beach. As Troy also said, he is clearly the best keeper in the A-League right now. I think that's probably a fair statement. Yeah, I mean, the other one who could probably say is probably Philip Curto. Is right up there as well. Curto was a top goalkeeper, but Patrick Beach, I mean, he was great last season, and this season he's just getting better and better. Young, promising goalkeeper, Patrick Beach. Lesson 23. G'day, mate. Welcome. Luke also says, Wood has surprised me. Has had a few good games too. Yeah, Michael Wood. Oh, Vowed, sorry, I should say. Excuse me. Got the pronunciation wrong. Michael Vowed at Auckland FC, who was a big talking point surrounding the reigning premiers Auckland heading into this season. Obviously, they are now without Alex Paulson, who was on loan last season. And Paulson was, I think we can all agree, the best goalkeeper in the A-League last year. And in my opinion, one of the greatest goalkeepers we've ever seen in the A-League. I would go as far to say that. He's been fantastic. Alex Paulson. But with him departing, Michael Vowed took over as that starting goalkeeper. And credit to him. Credit to him. A big game for Michael Vowed today as well in that New Zealand derby. Troy also says Curto doesn't get praised enough. He's consistent. Yeah. I mean, if he was maybe at a bigger club, look, no disrespect to MacArthur, but if he was at maybe a Melbourne Victory or a Sydney FC, as Cohen fires wide. If he was maybe at one of those big name clubs in the A-League, perhaps he would have more conversation around him. But Philip Curto is a goalkeeper who has come up with many a fine save in the A-League men's competition. Good chance there for Cohen. Did well to cut inside and out. Did really well, actually, to get around Jean Rowe. And goodness me, he had a lot of power on the strike, but it sailed wide of the target. I do like Andreas Kuhn, Austrian midfielder, second season in the A-League, and he's a dangerous player. He's a good player, man. Hard-working midfielder, but very dangerous in attacking positions too, Andreas Kuhn. Really physical midfield tussle. A lot of quality players in the middle of the park as Mazzeo's in behind, crossing. And it was a required intervention from Joshua Rawlins because Takeshi Kanamori was flying in at the far post. Oh, that's nice work. Great chance. Oh, it's a goal! And it's the youngster, Peter Antonio, who makes it 2. Oh, brilliant stuff from City. It's delightful football. And Peter Antonio has scored his first ever A-League goal. The young fullback who came on in the first half to replace the injured Natty Atkinson. Brilliant build-up play. Takeshi Kanamori creating the chance. And Antonio bursting into the box with a finish. What a huge moment in this derby. It is a 2-goal lead for City. Kanamori, look at the way he beat Rawlins. Just through the legs. That is a delightful finish. It's a great finish from Antonio. Wow, what a game to score your first A-League goal, man. What a moment. Jack Duncan will be really disappointed with his goalkeeping there at that near post. He's been beaten at his near post there from close range, and Antonio celebrating in front of the City faithful. Roderick Miranda shaking his head. Victory captain. Goodness me, it's just his second game. He made his A-League debut last week in that 0-0 draw with Brisbane. Featured in the Asian Champions League Elite this season so far as well for City. Second game, and he's got a goal in a Melbourne Derby. It's a huge goal too. It's a 2-goal lead, man. That is enormous. Melbourne victory. We're working so hard to try and get back into this game. Well, now they trail by 2. Stunning stuff, man. Incredible. So, wow, this is a big moment. Victory responding with a substitution. Nikos Virgos, who I think he's maybe had 1 or 2 shots in this game from memory. I mean, he's being replaced quite early on in this game. Jing Reese is on. So, Arthur Dillis making a big change in an attacking position. Nikos Virgos shaking the hands of the Victory coaching staff as he comes off. I wonder what he's thinking about that. Virgos. Wow, wait. There's the updated Victory lineup. Jing Reese is on to lead the line for Melbourne Victory. Jing Reese, second year at Melbourne Victory. Former Central Coast Mariners player as well, Jing Reese. Strike with a lot of pace, capable of playing in wide areas too, but big talking point around Melbourne Victory, the fact that they only have a couple real sort of recognised strikers in their squad in Nikos Virgos and Jing Reese, and they had Bruno Fornaroli there last season, and they didn't really recruit a recognised striker to the senior squad, so interesting one there. Hey. Luke says, were you surprised to see Bruno take the captaincy in the absence of Sakai for Auckland? I thought it'd go straight to De Vries. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm necessarily surprised. It is certainly an interesting one. Yeah, De Vries, or even who else could it have gone to? Yeah, I mean, Brimmer's not a bad guy to be wearing the captain's armband. He's he's got great A-League experience and he's a quality player. So clearly, Steve Corica, head coach there at Auckland FC, Steve Corica really trusts Jake Brimmer as Grimaldi has taken a shot which has sailed wide. And Victory are appealing here. What's going on here? Alex King's having enough of it, isn't having any of it, I should say. Are they appealing for a handball here? Oh, they are. Oh, this is a big moment. I mean, that definitely touches his hand. That definitely touches his hand. LFC says should have been a penalty there. Clear handball. It definitely... Surely VAR are going to have a look. I mean... and there's something's going on here. Caputo's just had it coming together with Jackson, who's gone down. And the heat is continuing to rise here in the kitchen at Amy Park. As Melbourne Victory are clearly frustrated at the moment. Not too much in that. Caputo with a sort of a flailing arm, but I think Lockie Jackson may have made the most of that. But I don't know. Troy said, I guess not. Hey, yeah, I mean, if you guys have been watching this channel for a while, you know that I'm a big believer that VAR should be used very, very rarely for the most extreme circumstances for absolutely clear and obvious errors, as it's, they say they should use it for. Was that a clear and obvious error? I think it probably was. The arm was the upper arm was tucked into the body, but this part of the arm, the forearm, was extended out. I think Victory a little bit unlucky, in my opinion. I think that's a clear and obvious error. The fact that Alex King hasn't awarded that a penalty, I think that's quite a clear handball. I don't see how it can't be. The forearm is extended away from the body and it's hit the hand coming down. It's been controlled. The trajectory of the ball has been controlled with the arm. I think Victory are very unlucky, and that could be a huge talking point come the end of this game. Davidson's cross. Ooh! Ching Reese was flying in, but Beach with a brave punch of the ball. Wowee. I mean, Luke says here, maybe it was a natural enough position. I think it was a penalty personally. That must be the thinking. VAR must have thought it's not a clear and obvious error. It was sort of natural positioning for the arm. But I don't know, man. We might have to... Hopefully they give us another look on the replay. But it looked like the upper arm was tucked in and the forearm was out. And for me, that's, the whole arm should be tucked into the body. If it's going to hit the arm and it's not going to be a penalty... That's if, the whole arm's tucked in. But yeah. Double change for City. Ben Mazzeo and Bessian Kudlechi off. Harry Shillington and Andrew Naboot on. As Keegan Jelassic is receiving some treatment at the moment. Bit of a concern here for Keegan Jelassic, who's still down, receiving some treatment as we speak. There's your updated Melbourne City lineup there, folks. A couple subs there for City. Harry Shillington on at right back, replacing Bessian Kudlechi, who was good in this game so far. And Andrew Naboot is on. The experienced Andrew Naboot, former Socceroos forward. Andrew Naboot replacing Ben Mazzeo, who is lively on that right wing. LFC also mentions not even a VAR check. Ridiculous. Yeah. Again, I think VAR should be rarely used for clear and obvious errors, but for me, I think that does fall into the vicinity of clear and obvious error. Change as well on the way for Victory. Concerns for Jelassic. He's coming off with apparently an injury here by the looks of things. We're getting another look at this, the replay of the handball decision. Well, non-handball, according to Alex King. That's away from your body. I'm sorry. That's a handball for me. I can't see how that hand is in a natural position. The hand, you could see, again, the upper arm is tucked in, but the hand is well away from the body. That is a handball, and I think the referees have missed that. I think that is a perfect example of where VAR should be intervening, because Alex King has clearly missed that one. And for me, that's a clear and obvious error. Again, I think VAR should be rarely used. I think it's used way too much in football. But that, I don't think that's one. Like, sometimes you have those decisions where it's like, you know, like you can sort of see it go either way. For me, it's a penalty. That's a handball. Luke says it should 100% be a penalty. Troy says victory got done there. Yeah. It looks like you guys agree too. I mean, yeah, a big moment in this game. Just considering the current state of the game. Still got plenty of football left, but victory trailing 2-0. That could have really turned the tide if victory had been awarded and scored a penalty there. Andrew Naboot, first touch on the ball, crossing. Away by Davidson. And out for a goal kick. So, yeah. Neo asking, are they looking back at it? I don't think so. I mean, it's too far now, at least. It's too far away. So, I'm very surprised. Yeah, that's a huge moment. I think victory will be very frustrated. We did see it, well, according to the broadcast, they showed it up on the broadcast that after Dillis, victory head coach got a yellow card. So, you would assume that maybe he was protesting the fact that the penalty wasn't awarded for victory. That's my assumption. Cohen flicking it forward towards Caputo. Jackson has to clear, and Davidson does well to flick it down the line, but straight to the path of Shillington. Caputo. Melbourne City looking good in this game, man. I mean, they are being tested. They've conceded a lot of shots. Patrick Beach has been called into action. But this has been a good performance so far from City. And even though they haven't had as many shots, I feel like they do deserve their lead. Melbourne City. Kanamori can't keep it in play. So, again, folks, there's still over 20 minutes of football to be played. There is enough time for victory to make a comeback and score a couple goals, but they need more in attack. They need more in attack. Melbourne victory. Neo, in regards to that penalty, also said, as a City fan, I hope it's not a pen, but it probably should be one. Yeah, I can't. I'd be surprised if anyone's thinking that that's not a penalty. Troy says, good to see that Mata is still on. Yeah, good point. Good point. We are approaching 70 minutes of football, and Juan Mata's put in a good shift for victory. He's been one of their better players. Been maybe a little bit quieter in the second half. He was pretty lively in the first half, wasn't he? Really appreciate you guys joining us for this Saturday Night Live watch along. City coming forward once again. Cohen for Kanamori. Kanamori, brilliant. Blocked by Rawlins. Corner for City coming up. Make sure you hit that like button. Support the channel. Really appreciate you guys joining us here. And always great to see you. To be talking with you guys here in the live chat as we watch some beautiful A-League football, the greatest competition in the world. Two big games tomorrow. Sydney hosts MacArthur. Brisbane hosts Jets. Kanamori's corner is whipped in, blocked at the near post, and Jing Reese can bring it away. Valadon's, I mean, Juan Mata was the most advanced player, but unable to get to that long ball. Melbourne victory. Need to try and find a way back into this game, and they need a goal soon. Some predictions for tomorrow's games from Troy in our live chat. Troy says, predicting wins for Sydney and Brisbane. They should both be fun games. I reckon both will be close games. Sydney FC, MacArthur FC, somewhat of a Sydney derby there. Maybe the newer edition of the Sydney Derby, 2 Sydney clubs. The way I like to think about it, I feel like Sydney FC are, because they're the oldest daily club in Sydney. They're the big boys. They've won a lot of silverware. You got Western Sydney Wanderers, who, obviously not as old as Sydney FC, but have had, good amount of success, and obviously won the Asian Champions League many years ago. But Wanderers are a pretty big club too. And then MacArthur, obviously that new growing club. They're sort of the younger brother. They're sort of like 3 siblings. You've got your older sibling, Sydney FC, middle sibling is Western Sydney Wanderers, and the younger sibling is MacArthur. That's the way I look at it. At this stage, who knows? Maybe who knows? Maybe that will change at one point. As Andrew Naboot, oh my goodness, that would have been an unbelievable goal. Andrew Naboot, first time hit, just over the crossbar. Kai Truin, what a ball! Oh my god, that would have been an unbelievable goal, dude. Kai Truin is having a great game. That ball over the top was delightful. Victory. Santos looking dangerous down the right, cutting inside. Santos still. The Brazilian winger, Valadon, shooting from range. A lot of efforts have gone sort of high over the target. Victory have been a little bit poor with their shot accuracy tonight. They're doing all right to create chances tonight, Melbourne Victory, but they got to start finding the target, dude. They got to start finding the target. Jordi Valadon on that occasion. Not a regular goal scorer for Victory. This time he was wide of the mark. So 70 minutes of football have been played in this Melbourne Derby. First Melbourne Derby of the A-League men's season, and of course rematch of last season's grand final. Kanamori down the left for City. The committee numbers forward here, Melbourne City. Kuhn shoots. The angle wasn't favourable for Kuhn, but Duncan was pretty comfortable behind that. What have you got, Victory? What have you got? Davidson, it was sort of just hit like a hopeful ball forward, but didn't come to anything. I don't know if they're going to need... That's not really going to help them, those sort of desperate long balls. They've got good players on the field. Melbourne Victory, Valadon, Jean-Ro, Mata playing as that attacking midfielder. Grimaldi and Santos on the wings now. Jing Reese, fresh legs up forward. Denny Jean-Ro, wayward pass. Got to be a little bit better going forward here, Victory. Truin with another interception. I mean, Truin's just unbelievable, man. He deserves his Socceroos call-up. And I tell you what, dude. I mean, if he has a good season, if Kai Truin maintains this level throughout the 2025-26 A-League men's season, he will be at the World Cup next year. Kai Truin will be in that Socceroos squad at the World Cup next year. If he just simply maintains this level, he will be in that World Cup squad. Andrew Naboot. That's no chance that's a free kick. The referee knows it. I think everyone knows it. And Andrew Naboot shaking his head. I mean, that's never a free kick. Look at the way he pokes it to his right. Yeah. I tell you what. Andrew Naboot is a fantastic player, man. Represented Australia at a World Cup, but yeah, that I don't think that was a free kick at all, in my opinion. He is a fabulous player, Andrew Naboot. And what a moment for him midweek. Scoring that winning goal in the Champions League elite for Melbourne City. Right at the death in that game. Huge win during the week. G'day, Namar. Who's asking, what's your thoughts on West Sydney Wanderers' season so far? Very underwhelming. I think that's the word. If I had to put one word on it, underwhelming. I think, look, Wanderers have brought in some quality players in the off-season, and without a win in 4 games just isn't good enough for Wanderers, especially considering that last season they were pretty good. finished 4th. They're going to need to really elevate West Sydney Wanderers, and there's a real challenge now for Alan Stajic to try and get the best out of this group of players. And it's a good group of players that he has, but for whatever reason, it's just not working. So, yeah, man. And we were talking a bit earlier in the live stream in regards to maybe pressure already on Alan Stajic. Sorry, Luke, just missed your comment there a moment ago. Question here from Luke. Great to have you in our live chat, as always, Luke, who asks, do you think that Perth will push to try and keep Sutton in the next transfer window? He hasn't been at his best over there as an injury replacement. Well, if Birigitti's fit, yeah, they probably won't look to keep him around because Mark Birigitti's would be returning, and Birigitti's a decent goalkeeper. So yeah, I think they'll look to hold on to Birigitti. Good question, though. Substitution for Melbourne City, and I believe this is probably the last one of the game. It's Zane Schreiber, who's worked really hard in midfield today. He's coming off, and he's been replaced by Emin Durakovic. So, if I do my math correctly, if I count how many substitutions City have made, that may well be their last, right? Antonio, Bonatig, Shillington, Durakovic, and Naboot. Yep, City have emptied their bench. They can make no more changes for the rest of the game. Melbourne Victory, they have brought on Reese, Santos, and that's it. Victory can still make 3 changes, man. Yeah. Another good question here. This time from Nama, who asks, do you think Central Coast Mariners will keep Warren Moon on a permanent basis? Hey, as a Mariners fan, if the results keep coming, Mariners have 2 wins in their first 4 games. If Mariners, say, like, you know, the end of the year rolls around, December rolls around, New Year's Eve rolls around, and if Mariners are in the top 6, yeah, I'd be keen for Warren Moon to stick around. Troy says, here's a tough one. Troy asks, here's a tough one. Who is the most underwhelming player? As Melbourne Victory are pushing as we speak for a goal back into this game. Sorry, Troy. We'll come back to that question because Victory are in the box. Here's a great chance from Santos. Oh, I'm sorry, but that has to hit the target. That has to hit the target. And I say that just because this has been such a frustrating night for Victory fans because they've gotten into so many good positions and they just keep missing the target. He's a good player, Santos. Great player. Great signing last season for Victory, but he's just lifted that wide of the target and City scrambling in defense and Victory too good. Sorry, City too good. And Victory just starting to run out of ideas. Just to go back to Troy's question here. Who is the most underwhelming player Mariners have ever had? Have ever had in a couple players in mind. Oh, sorry, I have a couple players in mind. You're saying that, Troy. The most underwhelming player that Mariners have ever had? There's been a few. I was excited. To tell you what, a few seasons ago, Mariners had the likes of Paul Iongo, Kelechi John. Yeah, like some of those guys who signed. And that was the 2022-23 season. Like early on, those guys signed and they departed pretty early on. I remember they departed, I think, halfway through the season. Those guys left the club for whatever reason, and I hope those guys are going well now. But I remember I had really high expectations of those guys, and just obviously didn't work out. But in terms of underwhelming players, I'm sure there's some others that I'm missing, but we'd love to hear from you, Troy. Who are your underwhelming Mariners players? LFC asks, is there any team in the league better than Victory at blasting shots well over the crossbar? Well, Victory certainly take the cake tonight. They'll be very, very disappointed with their efforts on goal because they simply haven't had enough efforts on goal, on target. Credit to City's defense. They've worked really hard tonight. They've stayed very organised at the back. And hey, look, I'll raise my hand and acknowledge that in my latter prediction, I said that maybe Melbourne City will drop off a little bit. They're maybe lacking a little bit of quality, but they're such a well-drilled and well-organised team. And even with the number of young players they've got coming in, those young guys know their roles. Davidson, cutting in. Davidson. Mata! One Mata's shot is blocked. Lockie Jackson is up forward in attack and he crosses. Away by Bonatig. Davidson, Mata, edge of the box here. Valadon. Oh! Not too far away. A little bit closer. Geordie Valadon, who's had a couple shots from range tonight. Sorry, Zachariah. I just missed your question from a few moments ago. Asks, what can the Jets improve on? Just a curious question as a supporter of the Jets. Defense. Yeah, Adstar said it too. I just saw after that question. Yeah, defense. It's pretty obvious. I mean, Jets are good in attack. Max Burgess and Alex Battleado creating things in midfield, and Ben Gibson scoring goals, and Will Dobson's a good player in attack. But it's obvious Jets need to tighten up at the back. So I think, look, the players that got there are okay. You know, Shaughnessy and Shushnar started the last couple of games. They just, I don't know, some formation thing, some organizational thing. Like in the last couple of games, there's just been way too much space at the back. And they've been exposed. And we saw that against Sydney FC, conceding 4 goals. Max Caputo driving forward for City. Can't find a teammate with a back heel. So we are well and truly into the final moments of this game now. Melbourne Victory are running out of time, folks. Can they make a comeback in this game? It'll be a pretty underwhelming start to this season for Victory heading into the international break. If they, their first 4 games, they've got just 1 win and 2 losses and a draw. Melbourne City, they're looking all right, aren't they? Ooh, Mark, with a tough question. Which team do you think will win the league? I mean, Auckland are looking great at this stage, aren't they? They're looking very good. So they're probably leading the way at the moment. Melbourne City looking pretty good too. What else are we saying here as well? We've had some good questions coming in. Mark asked earlier, or said earlier, that Perth should hire Marco Redan as their coach. That'd be interesting. Sydney FC in the live chat. Sydney FC asks, who do you think wins tomorrow? Sydney FC or Bulls? I think Sydney FC are probably slight favourites, but I think it'll be a close game. I think maybe I'm probably call a draw. I'd probably call a draw for that one. I think Bulls are a decent side. So I don't think it'll be a comfortable win for Sydney if they do win it. Troy also said, in regards to underwhelming plays, yeah, Stefan Jankovic, I remember him. Says he played 10 minutes, probably out of his control. Can't remember his name, but the player... Can't remember his name, but the player we signed from Brisbane Roar got injured and he never played. Trent Millard? Trent Millard? Millard? Not sure how to pronounce his name, to be honest. Trent Millard, I think. Is that the one you're talking about, Troy? Trent Millard? But yes, I do remember Stefan Jankovic and barely played back in, I think, what probably would have been 2021. Lockie Jackson. Victory are really pushing now. Hey Luke, thanks for the score updates. I didn't check the championship scores earlier today. It says South Melbourne 2-0 win over Broadmeadow Magic. Oh, was it a 3-3 draw between Olympic and Mountain City Excelsior? How about that? Didn't see that. Victory are really going for it now, folks. Trying to find a way back into this game, but they're running out of time, and Melbourne City are just looking too good at the back. Oh, no, it wasn't that one. Troy says Lucy Zelich's partner. I have to Google my own answer. My memory's terrible. I'm trying to remember, man. I'm trying. I'm not sure. Jason Davidson has won it in the wing. Oh, and just the pass goes astray. Juan Mata trying to keep the boys, keep his Victory teammates, keep their spirits high. Dragicevic is on for Melbourne Victory as well. He replaced Matt Grimaldi a moment ago on that left wing. Paramount Plus, excuse me, player index they've just shown on the broadcast. Patrick Beach is at the top. No surprises about that. Kanamori, Ferreira, and Antonio are also there. Jean Rowe is the only Victory player in that top 5 on the Paramount Plus player index. Patrick Beach, the phenomenal save earlier. One Mata on the ball. Oh, he's found... Oh, great chance. Yeah, Jean Rowe just couldn't control it, but found a great little pocket of space there. Great little pocket of space. Over the top. Oh, Jing Reese. Is he in behind? Jing Reese. Surely. Oh, Reese has scored. No, the flag is up. The flag is up. Oh, my goodness. That's right. Offside, LFC. Oh, my goodness. Will VAR come to the rescue for Victory? I mean, he did look offside. Corey Gamero, Troy. Yes. Corey Gamero. I remember him playing from there. He played for a few different A clubs. Yeah, he looks offside. Jing Reese. Not too much in it, but yeah. Tell you what, Jing Reese did well to finish there. But I think that's probably the correct call. He did look just offside there, Jing Reese. Great chance. E-Tone's in the live chat. Hello, E-Tone. Welcome, welcome. E-Tone also says, Victory fan here. Bloody disgraceful, with a wink face. VAR are checking this goal, according to the broadcast. Check is complete, because the game's back underway. No goal. Tense moments at the end of this game. Melbourne Victory haven't been good enough in attack, dude. Like, they've created the chances, but the execution of finishing those chances has been absent for them tonight, and maybe is an area of the park they need to work on. No worries, Neo. What did I miss? I don't think too much has happened since you've left, to be honest. I mean, Victory are trying to get back into this game, but still unable to find that goal. Kuhn looking to release Naboot. He might be onside here. Andrew Naboot's in behind. Andrew Naboot has just put the ball in the back of the net. Flag is up. Flag is up. Oh boy. Troy says, tough watch for Victory fans. Yep. If you're a Victory fan, it certainly has been a tough watch. Replays. Yep, correct call. Well, how about that? Two very quick offside calls there. One for either team. Jing Reese and Andrew Naboot scoring for their respective sides, but both players offside. Yes, Neo, there was a VAR check for Victory's goal, at least. Well, the non-goal. Andreas Kuhn down the left for City. Max Caputo. He's going to get it on the end of this. Oh, great chance. Max Caputo, he shot straight at Duncan. Max Caputo opened the scoring in the early stages of this game. That really set the tone for this game, gave City the advantage. And I tell you what, man, I mean, they're so close to holding on here, Melbourne City. If they can hold on, it's going to go down as a really top performance for them. It's been a great display from City, almost a little bit reminiscent to the grand final last season, where they took an early lead and were so good in defence in that midfield duel. Ching Reese, edge of the box. Looks like Xavier Stella's on the park as Santos' shot straight into the hands of Patrick Beach. So the question is, how much injury time do we get added on? I mean, Keegan Jelassic was down for a moment with injury. Can't imagine it'd be too much time. There hasn't really been that many stoppages. I'd probably say 3 or 4 minutes. Yeah, we've got 4 minutes added on. So Victory have made all their subs. Xavier Stella's on in midfield for the last few minutes, placing Jordi Valadon. Valadon worked so hard and even had some shots at goal, but unable to find the target. Victory, as a team, have been unable to find the target tonight in this Melbourne Derby. 4 minutes total added on. Victory are well and truly running out of time now for a miracle comeback. It's been a great performance from City. Hit that like button, support the channel. We'll be doing plenty of live watch-alongs throughout this A-League season, so stay subscribed so don't miss it. Got the international break coming up. Socceroos in action. And then the A-League returns the following weekend. Jason Davidson swings it wide for Rawlins. His cross is good. One Mata has missed from seemingly 3 meters in front of goal. And he's shaking his head in frustration. He knows he should have done better. He was probably onside too. Oh, what a chance. I mean, to be fair, if it was on target, Patrick Beach may well have saved that. Wowee, dude. Jason asks, have you seen the official attendance figure, Lockie? I haven't seen it, no. No, I don't think they've put it up on the broadcast. Wow, according to the broadcast, 20 shots at goal for Victory, 10 for City. Double the shots on goal for Victory. And wow, the shots on target for Victory, 5 out of 20 on target. For Melbourne City, 6 out of 10 on target. Oh, a bit of a wrestle for the ball here. Santos, push and shove. Kanamori involved. The Melbourne Derby is well and truly heating up. Oh, Andrew Naboot has sprinted over to Santos and gotten right in his face. I don't think there's any need for that. No need to sprint in like that and get involved. Pushing and shoving from a number of players. It's a Melbourne Derby for you, folks. Victory are clearly frustrated with how this evening has panned out. So, I mean, surely there's no time for 2 goals here. I mean, Victory just have to score off this set piece now for any sort of hope. One Mats is going to send it in. The delivery's all right. Headed away for a corner, and we're into the final minute. That's surely time up now in regards to scoring 2 goals here for Victory. It may well be a consolation. Mata, a high delivery from the corner, and Rawlins cannot control it. This has been a really, really frustrating evening for Melbourne Victory, and they clearly need improvement in attack. 20 shots and 5 on target. Not acceptable for a club like Melbourne Victory, who have high aspirations. Melbourne Victory have made the last 2 A-League Men's Grand Finals and have lost both. What is the expectation now for this Victory side, who are set to start this season with 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses? But for Melbourne City, it's been a really, really professional performance tonight. Really, really strong stuff. Melbourne City will start this season with 2 wins and 2 draws. Undefeated. It is full time in the Derby. In the grand final rematch, it's Melbourne City 2, Melbourne Victory 0. Max Caputo and Peter Antonio with the goals for City. Wowee. Wowee. How about that? So, a dramatic day of derbies in the A-League men's competition. Earlier today, New Zealand Derby, Auckland FC defeating Wellington Phoenix. Auckland FC going top of the A-League men's ladder. Melbourne City up there as well, not too far behind. Those 2 teams were at the top last season, Auckland and City. How about that? These 2 teams who were so strong last season made a really strong start to this season once again. Guys, thank you very much for joining us for this Saturday live watch along. We'll have a lot more live streams over throughout the season. Stay subscribed so you don't miss our live streams here. And it's been great to watch this game unfold and react to it with you guys here in the live chat and just talk all things A-Leagues and Australian football. And obviously there's a lot going on. Soccer is back in action next week. So it's a busy time, as it always is in Australian football. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. That was our live watch along for the Melbourne Derby. 2-0 win for City in the end. Enjoy the rest of your weekends, and I'll see you in the next one.